This is Ryan Pierce, host of Completely Serious. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, it's Baxter Colburn here from Public House Media. Did you know that we just added a store here at Public House Media? No, I'm not talking about a grocery store where you can go buy apples or bananas or peanut butter, which are all fantastic, especially when peanut butter's on all of those. Anyway, we've added a store here at Public House Media so you can not only come and represent your favorite podcast network, but also represent your favorite shows as well, too. Just go over to thepHmedia.com and look in the top right corner where you'll see the button that says Store. Click on that and you can search through all of our great products. Or if you go to our Facebook page, Public House Media, you can see on the left-hand side a tab that says Store. All of our products are listed there as well too. It's the new Public House Media store. You don't want to miss it. It is fantastic. Buy some of that great swag to support your favorite shows and to support Public House Media. Check it out today.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
That's a magical moment, isn't it? The light settles all the way down. Everyone in the theater promptly shuts their potholes, and you spend the next 2 hours with a piece of film, focusing on its intricacies, its messages, and its themes. Alright, maybe not everyone. Sometimes film experiences do stick with us. Besides seeing the cinematic masterpiece of Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, Mr. I have to stop. In theaters for my best friend's 7th birthday, or seeing Star Wars The Force Awakens with a huge group of friends, none of those. The cinematic experience that sticks out to me is Avengers Age of Ultron. That's right, it even surpasses Space Chimps 2, Zartog Strikes Back. I saw that movie in theaters. It was great. No, hold on. Let me set the stage of Age of Ultron. It was my 16th birthday. I had a bunch of my friends come along. It was a great time, but for some reason, I wasn't able to really get a firm grasp on the film's themes and messages. No, it wasn't for my friends joking around, laughing, and chomping on popcorn. It was something else. The film itself. With Infinity War being just a week away, let us go! Today, we analyze those themes and messages we didn't pick out the first time around in Avengers Age of Ultron. So grab your mise-en-scène critic monocles, you film aficionados, gear up with some popcorn, soda, and potential health deficiencies from said popcorn and soda, and remember, there are no strings on me. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hello, what's the sitch? Cinema Stories, where we talk the latest in movie and TV news and reviews. Kim Possible out. Today, we do something a little bit different. Instead of our regular review format, we're gonna analyze the themes submerged in a pretty unfocused film to see what happened to the second Avengers movie. This is an episode you guys will not want to miss. We're brought to you by the always spectacular Public House Media. Please download, play, and share this with the people you know, or even strangers. If you see a guy down on his luck on the street, say, "Now, I don't have change or food, but what I do have is a fun new movie review podcast for you to listen to. I'm sure it will go over swell." Seriously, guys, give to the poor sometimes. Please, help me reach the 1,000 download mark. I'd really appreciate it so much if you could just download one episode of Cinema Stories. Listen on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. Check out the PH Media store. Check out the Cinema Stories gear. Alright, let's get into analyzing Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, like I said, when I first saw Age of Ultron, I loved every bit of it. With my MCU fanboy glasses on, I was with all of my friends. It was the ideal situation for me to just blindly love the movie. Then, as the weeks passed, I thought about it more. I certainly enjoyed myself, but the best Marvel movies have an effective underlying meaning. I didn't really get that from Ultron. But why? Alright, for those of you who don't know the story or haven't seen the movie, it's been 3 years. The third one comes out in like a day. You could have watched the movie. After the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Avengers are cleaning out hidden Hydra bases, searching for Loki's staff to return it to Asgard. After making quick work of the Hydra agents, Iron Man retrieves the scepter, not without being shown a horrendous vision by Scarlet Witch, one of the two Sokovians. Yeah, that's a country, apparently, who were experimented on by the Hydra along with her brother Quicksilver. In the vision of the future, all of the Avengers are slain, and the aliens from the first Avengers are invading the unprotected world. In this state of paralyzing fear, Stark realizes that the world needs protection, and the Avengers may not always be around to do the job. So with Bruce Banner, he begins to invent Ultron, an artificial intelligence tasked to bring peace to their time. And like you guessed, he did it. He did it. He did it! I mean, my goodness, he saved the world for everyone! Call your kids, call your grandparents, call Donald Trump. The world is safe forever. Yes. Yeah, no, Ultron realizes that humans can do pretty bad things, so he murders Jarvis. What? Yeah, he murders Jarvis. Yep. Realizing this, the Avengers search for Ultron and trace him to a shipping yard, trying to acquire vibranium to upgrade for his sinister plan, which we'll get to later. The Scarlet Witch gives all of the Avengers really dark visions and triggers Bruce Banner into going all Hulk mode. He attacks the city, but Tony Stark comes in with the Hulkbuster suit. Explosions, action, headaches, bleeding eyes. I just love Marvel movies. So the Avengers, shaken up from the visions, venture to Hawkeye's secret hideout where his secret family resides. They all enjoy a nice little break. It's a really good scene, actually, as we get more good character work and comedy. Thor ventures to this pool of the spirits, and he sees a vision of Infinity Stones and what they are, and it's a bit out of nowhere, but it looks like it'll tie into Ragnarok. Spoilers, it does not. Ultron obtains a previously established high-tech synthetic vibranium tissue body to make his final transformation. The Avengers steal it back, combine it with the Reality Infinity Stone which was in Loki's scepter, and Jarvis, who's not dead, again, very random, and create the Vision, a seemingly all-powerful being with intellect, strength, and an amazing accent. Also, the two experimented on mutant, not mutant people like Scarlet Witch turned out to be good, so that is also exciting. The Avengers confront Ultron. Quicksilver sacrifices himself to save Hawkeye. Vision and Ultron have a great conversation. The Avengers Dispatch and Captain America and Black Widow are set to lead the new Avengers, consisting of Scarlet Witch, Vision, Falcon, War Machine, everyone's favorite. Also, Hulk flies away on a jet. He and Black Widow had a romance in the movie. It also random, but it was alright. But yeah, that's the plot of Age of Ultron. Did it sound confusing and convoluted? Because it was. Like I said earlier, the best Marvel movies have these established tones and send a clear message. Winter Soldier was a gritty spy thriller with a message about security. Guardians 2 is an expression on abusive parents played through a light tone. No one knew what Ultron was about. But I think I might have figured it out. Oh, please, no. You can thank me later. Really, though, once I thought of it, I looked it up, and there's nothing about these themes on YouTube or anything, not even a suggestion. Now, before I say it, I just want to get out of the way. I have no horse in this race. I don't necessarily subscribe to the messages that this film is conveying, but I feel like this is the allegory the movie is trying to display. Age of Ultron is kind of an allegory about religion, like the 2017 movie Mother was. Yep, that's true, that's what I think. Let me explain. Now, like I said, when I found this out, I was in a hot sweat. I freaked out. Like, how come no one is talking about these themes in this movie? Like, there's that line where Vision randomly says, I am, but what? It's like I'm taking crazy pills. But yes, indeed, here are my thoughts on what it represents, what happens underneath the surface, and where it went wrong. In the world of the fictitious Avengers, it's a godless universe which burst into existence with the Infinity Stones, that whole business. Tony Stark fears a world-ending, cataclysmic event and wants to surround the people of Earth with the comfort that they will be safe. This stems from a fear that man cannot protect itself from inevitable death. So in the fiction of the story, Tony Stark wants to put a shield of safety around the world, so he forms the conception of an all-powerful, pure God in Ultron. Before thinking it through, he invents the AI, yet does not understand that this almighty creature will look to extinguish those who are not pure or strong enough. Ultron is reminiscent of the legendary gods of Greece, or even slightly the Hebrew god in the Old Testament. This is apparent when Ultron flat out references Noah's Ark. He enlists his followers who have been hurt by man, the two twins. As the film progresses, the characters are forced to deal with their own insecurities, and it's interesting how some of the characters change in many ways, but don't in others. For example, Stark creates the murder bot, and then immediately wants to create the Vision. More on that later. Eventually, and with good intention, they create the Vision, who would be a sort of Hercules or Jesus-type character, clearly referenced in his line where he flat-out blasphemes and says, I am. Ultron wants to become this savior, but he can't because he does not sympathize with man like Vision can. Since he is a wrathful titan, Ultron yearns to wipe out the world and start fresh with a new people with a giant meteor, maybe poking a little fun at the Big Bang Theory. Vision, the light to Ultron's darkness, eventually pleads with him and overtakes him. The two share in a final conversation, discussing that the human race is doomed, yet there is nobility in their failures. This ties into the fact that Jesus came to save the sinners and plead for them, not wipe them out. Vision is a being of peace in the universe to offset the wrath of Ultron, like Jesus in the New Testament trumped the Old Testament. So in generalization, Age of Ultron kind of paints the allegory of the secular belief that man created the thought of God for a comfort or security. Once the Avengers realize that this would affect the outside world as well as themselves, the savior of the Vision is born to rationalize and see the human side, pleading to a jealous god. Or in this case, blasting Ultron with a laser from his forehead. And Ultron definitely does have a god complex. He talks about the church in Sokovia being in the middle of the city. He mentions the Bible stories. He wants to destroy the earth with an extinction level event like Noah and the flood. This is an odd film for sure. I don't know what kind of message it's trying to send. Is it saying that religion is a good thing that saves and brings comfort, or is it a critique? I'm not really sure. So, we've established how the plot and the two all-powerful characters play into this theory, but how about the human characters? Like I said, Tony does not change. Yes, he feels guilt for his brashness, yet he does the same thing that created Ultron. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Man will never change, continuing to dig itself a hole. This sheds light on Vision's and Ultron's conversation, where they admit that the human race is doomed. The rest of the characters deal with their interpersonal conflicts. Captain America, whom Ultron calls God's righteous soldier, Banner and Romanoff's relationship, Thor yearning to return home to save his people, Hawkeye and his family, the twins and their animosity for Stark. I guess it kind of fits too. All of these people just reacting and living their own lives while so much is happening on a higher level that they can hardly even try to control it. Even if the ideas are controversial, they are interesting to think about in fiction. The issue with Age of Ultron is that the themes can never be properly explored or give its actual message due to Marvel's loom over them. Instead of exploring key aspects of the story, they threw in talk of Infinity Stones and Ragnarok and Civil War and Avengers 3. They shoved so much in that a deep theme and message were relegated to throwaway lines. Instead of making the film that Whedon wanted to with these themes at the forefront, they made him fit into the Marvel mold. Age of Ultron is a fine movie. The performances are all great. The character stuff is good. I think there's a complex and interesting movie in here, but it got way down in the standard Marvel structure. If I were to give it a score, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I would really recommend checking this movie out again with that theme in mind and viewing it from a different point of view. It's interesting. If nothing else, it's interesting to see how a studio can really change a movie. Now that that's over, let's get to a quick round of feedback. Little time. No celebrity cameo today, let's just jump in. I asked the question last week, who is most likely to kick the bucket in Infinity War? These are the answers that I received. Kicking off, literally, one of the nicest people I know, soccer superstar Molly Fisher wrote, Captain America for Sharks. Molly, I really hope that this suggestion is actually bull sharks, because Cap's my favorite Marvel character. His movies are so great, and come on, Chris Evans is such a beefcake. That is a popular fan theory though, and in the trailer, it looks like Thanos might just lay the hammer on him. Thank you Molly for the comment. One of my fellow ushers from church, friend in high school and grade school, going a long way back, Alex Zimmerman, suggests Iron Man, and you know what? That's got my money too, man. I think that Downey pretty much basically started the MCU. His arcs through the movies would perfectly wrap up in a nice bow with some self-sacrifice. Thanks for the input, Alex. And Alex was not alone. My good friends Jordan Kiekever and Aaron Jurgens also suggested Tony Stark. And sadly, I think the majority might take this one. We shall see this week, though. Aaron also suggested Ant-Man, and he hasn't been in any of the material for promotion so far, so maybe. But come on, you can't kill off Paul Rudd. Guy's a national treasure. Thank you all for answering that question, and tune in at the end for my next question on feedback. Now we've come to the part of the show where we talk the latest in movie and TV news. These are today's cha-ching cinema stories. According to Variety.com, the Amy Schumer film I Feel Pretty has underperformed. Opening to only $16 million, It is her worst opening to date. It's disappointing because even though I'm not a huge fan of her comedy, I really enjoyed the premise. I'll have to see it for myself, but as of now, Schumer's next move remains in question. The new Venom trailer has dropped. On April 24th, late in the evening, Sony released the teaser. The trailer features some pretty horrifying imagery, as well as Tom Hardy with an interesting accent. There is some really cliche aspects to it, like evil scientist man walking down the hallway. But the final shot of the trailer is genuinely terrifying and spectacular. I'm pretty excited for this flick. And that will do it for us today. Thank you again so much for listening. Leave a like, play, download, and share. Check us out at thephmedia.com, as well as Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Check out the PH Media store. Get a Cinema Stories tank top. That would be so awesome! Like a Cinema Stories tank top. You need it. You deserve it. Thanks for tuning into this analysis of the lost themes of Age of Ultron. Did you like the breakdown? What can I do better? Let me know. For feedback next week, let me know what you guys thought of Infinity War. It's my most anticipated movie of the year. Let me know what you guys think of it. You all know you can follow me on Facebook at Samuel_J_Kirby on Twitter, or SamKirby17 on Instagram. So, Age of Ultron had interesting ideas, yet was dragged down in a convoluted, meddled with story. But who's really at fault? Is it the director? Is it the studio? Is it the audience? I don't even care. Honestly, I see Infinity War this week. Let's go. I'm sorry. Sam Kirby signing out. You have fun avenging. Kiss kiss. Later Gator. After a while, Crocodile.